All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 12 of Interoperability Unlocked. If you're new, I'm Courtney Baker, the marketing manager here at Commonwealth, and I'm always joined by Liz Lewis, our director of product. And today, Paul wanted to join in on the fun, so we have our executive director, Paul Wilder, with us today.
I didn't want to. You forced me.
And we all coordinated to wear black.
Oh,
I got a Commonwealth one on.
I almost put my Commonwealth on too, but I didn't because I was slacking today.
Does this come through backwards on your side, or is it right the right way?
No, it's the right way.
Okay, I'm just curious what the video is doing here. Mirror.
No, you're good. Okay, so today we are going to talk about two things. One, we're going to talk about the new government benefits determination exchange purpose SOP that came out and is seeking feedback. And then we're also going to just chat about a little bit of a special event that's coming up, if you know, you know, our annual fall summit. So Liz, let's kind of dig in here. Starting with the SOP. First, kind of to like tell us what the heck this is and how it's like integrated with TEFCA or like a part of TEFCA.
Yeah, that's me. That's my bad. I'm having lots of technical issues today. I'm actually on my phone. Sorry.
You're surviving, you're thriving.
Yes, I'm thriving. So in TEFCA, there are 6 permitted purposes, 6 permitted types of exchange, and government benefits determination is one of them. It was listed kind of from day one in TEFCA as one of the 6. It's treatment, individual access services, or what we call patient access, payment, healthcare operations, government benefits determination, and public health. Like, what's the one I'm missing? Public health. And so over time, we've been trying to create standard operating procedures, SOPs, for each of these permitted types of exchange. We have one for treatment, we have one for public health, we have one for IAS, we have one for healthcare operations. And so next on the list is government benefits determination. This SOP is specific to the SSA. And that is because the SSA has some specific requirements. And so there is a code to be used to indicate that this is exchange specific to the SSA. So this was circulated inside of the QHIN community, and now it is open for public feedback. And it basically is an SOP for the SSA to be able to query for clinical data in order to make benefits determination for people in the United States who need disability benefits or SSI benefits. And right now, and many people in the space already know this, but right now it takes weeks to months to get a determination. And a lot of times these are people inside of the United States who are, at or below the poverty level. These are people who are struggling to, put food on the table. And so timely determination of their benefits so that they can get payments is really important. And so this use case is intended to make that go faster by providing access to clinical data that is already accessible for other purposes of use, and allowing the SSA to do that. So we're here for it. We've definitely been a supporter of this for a while. We haven't fully baked this into our system yet, but looking forward to doing so.
Yeah, and isn't this kind of related to the inquiry that we got like a month ago from an actual patient trying to get their data for their benefits?
Yeah,
Right.
It is. Yeah.
Okay.
So it can take a long time, and it's very manual process, and it's the same world for like life insurance and other types of benefits, right?
Yeah.
To get timely access to data to be able to make decisions so that people who need to get paid can get paid. It's important. So it is related to that. Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
And it's directly related to healthcare, just to put context on there. There's 2 things we learned. One, which is incredibly sad when you say it out loud. There are a fair amount of people who die before their benefits get approved. That's bad.
Yeah.
And the primary use of this is to get better healthcare. So it's actually cyclical back to the healthcare market, the healthcare industry. It just has a tough time getting to the top of the pile when you have clinical things to do. To fill out these forms and send stuff in.
Right. So given that, Paul, how do you see this SOP working like in reality, given like the current state of TEFCA exchange?
This is not a slam dunk. It seems like it on paper. The federal side actually has what they call a federal notice. I think sometimes we accidentally call it a statute, but I don't think I don't think Congress sent it out. I think they were told to go figure this out. And SSA actually pays for this exchange, kind of recognizing they're interacting with the commercial market. They're a government entity, but they want to force it to be, quote, free. There is an operational burden either to the provider or to an EHR developer to develop this technology. So, that part's good, but it's a pretty specific bundle of data structured a very specific way the SSA wants it. And it's hard in a competitive market where EHRs are competing for business to put that at the top of the pile when you're going after, maintaining an install base, keeping your current customers and trying to get new ones. Like, well, this SSA thing is great, but that's not a clinical utility. It's not helping with how quickly you get appointments and prescriptions refilled. Sure, but right, and it becomes this sure but regularly. So I don't think it's a slam dunk. I do think there's high interest. It's just you got to be careful how much stuff is at the top and just keeps getting knocked down to number 2, number 3, number 4.
Yeah. What do you think about one of my biggest concerns, not concerns, but just to your point on like, I don't think it's a slam dunk. There's still work to be done. Like an SOP is a guidance document, for lack of a better term. And then, how that happens in reality on the ground sometimes can be different. And we know that the SSA has specific content guidelines. What are your thoughts on how we can work collaboratively with them to get through some of the content requirements to make sure that, there is actual value here? Otherwise, I could see this being a bit of a slog of, kind of like a one by one. And at Commonwealth, we work in, hundreds and thousands of ones, right? So there's a gap somewhere here that we have to figure out how we get through.
Yeah. Well, I guess this is our little broadcast of the world. So sometimes we're known to being a little feisty or spicy, whatever term you want to use.
Yes, we are.
I think with the way modern compute technology works, the method being used to verify the data is what they need seems dopey to me. It feels like, why don't you get whatever they can pump out to you and see if you can determine it based on that before you start going through making sure the data is always pure before you'll even start. Like, something tells me that with a very quick LLM style AI something that just says, extract these 5 pieces of data from this blob and help us determine this, because the determination is often manual based upon data. It's not the computer just saying a yes or a no all the time. So can you pull those data elements of the existing stuff and just work with what exists and get close enough? And if you don't have the right data in there, don't pay. And it actually works that way. The SSA federal notice is if the blob we get back is not compliant to what we're able to make the determination on, we won't pay you the $15. That's what it currently is for that record. But if we do, we will. It doesn't say that the determination is going to be yes or no, just that the data is there. And it feels like, if you siphon off what's already existent and just said, let's see what it does, you might get a lot more participation than going through conformance checking and specific formatting. Like, how about have the computer format it?
Get Amy Gleason to get on that as her next project. And
I mean, seriously, like, we have tens of thousands of things in TEFCA now. I'm not saying TEFCA is a resounding success, but it's getting there. And Athena's got 7,000, Epic's got 1,000 change. And by the way, these numbers are entities. So the Epic one is many sites and clinical facilities, and they're actually one of the strongest pushers to making sure that the SSA is in TEFCA in the event that they start pulling out of care quality and moving or at least shifting their loads, which I think is starting to happen. So they want to make sure that has a home, and I think that's great. But there are a lot of others, especially mid-market EHRs, that this is going to be hard to get top of priority list with doing all the cert stuff and all the regulatory starting points before they can even start building features. And everybody's like, oh, $15 a transaction. I'd love to get $15 a transaction. I just got to build something that does it at scale. when do I do that? How do I prioritize that? And it seems like, oh, if you can make it easier for me, I'll give it a go. Let's see what happens. but
Yeah.
right now we're not there.
Yeah, there's a long tail content testing requirement that's going to be a hurdle. Like it's going to be a hurdle, and we're going to have to figure out how to collaboratively work together to make it less so if we want it to be successful. So
yeah, it's the getting to one problem. In the case of this, to get to one, you have to test like you're doing it for 10 million.
yeah,
So it has to be done, and that's it just feels like that's back. And be clear, like I don't always enjoy what's going on right now in terms of people are bandying a lot of stuff, like not doing it right, but doing it well enough. But if the goal is to make this move faster and get people the disability checks they're going to get anyway. And by the way, this is a final thing for any of the policy financial hawks of the world. This is retrofitted and retro paid. If it's sitting on a pile and takes 2.5 years to adjudicate, and today disability equals yes, they pay back the 2.5 years. It's not like delay makes this cost us the federal government any less. It just makes it take longer and makes people more likely to die. Like that, there's no good reason for that.
Yeah. So comments are open to the public right now. Courtney, you put that in the chat, I think, right? I can't see it. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, it's in there. It should be anyway.
Okay. So go to the RC website. It's open to the public for comment. Take a look at it. You may want to look at, there's another SOP called the called the exchange purposes, vetting on the brain always. The exchange purposes SOP. There's an update to that too. So, take a look at those and comment.
How much time do you have?
I will not get you started on that one. Because we want to talk about something that's more exciting. Courtney, I'll let you take over and I'll be quiet.
Yeah. So our fall summit is less than a month away. It's in Indianapolis this year. I'm sure you've seen us posting about it. However, our registration closes this weekend. So the procrastination must come to an end. You need to get your butt in the seat. But just for like a little bit of insight, we have a ton of great topics, and something exciting about this year is we've packed it with new things that we didn't talk about last year. We have speakers that were not there last year. I was just looking at the agenda, and I think we have maybe 2 speakers overlap, and all the rest are new people that you haven't seen. So that's super exciting for this year. Anybody can come to the summit. It used to be exclusively to members of the Alliance, but as of last year, we opened it up to everybody. So if you're passionate about interop, you're hands deep in interop, you just want to learn about interop, join us. It's going to be amazing. We have very, talented speakers that are going to be joining us for sessions. What else? Liz, what do you think? What's the relevance of the summit in relation to like the landscape of interop right now?
Yeah. So you sort of mentioned this, but I want to like double down on it. The fall summit used to be all like very insular, very just like Commonwealth. It was all just Commonwealth people speaking to each other about just Commonwealth, and that was great, and that served a purpose as we were in a build phase, and now we're at a decent scale, and so now we're in a how do we shift the market, how do we influence the market, how do we work together to make sure that collaboratively we're all going in the direction that is provides is beneficial to most. And so so we're talking about TEFCA, obviously. We're talking about policy. We're talking about the new CMS aligned framework. We're talking about FIRE. We're talking about our RLS. I mean, patient access. Like, we have all of the major components that you'll see kind of across the board in interoperability writ large, in healthcare data exchange writ large. You'll see those topics, and you'll hear from speakers who are boots on the ground, who really deeply understand this information. And it still is small enough meeting that it is still highly collaborative, and
Yep.
we, very much engage with the people who are there in the audience. There's a lot of questions, there's a lot of back and forth commentary. So it's really, the place to be from a interop collaborative lens.
Yeah, some of the reviews last year, a lot of the biggest comments were the value of being able to network with those people that are in that room. So that was a big one. And then just the intellect of the speakers too. All the sessions were highly rated. So, and to Liz's point, last year, we did a big opening ourselves as Commonwealth. We did like a committee's update as Commonwealth. This year, we sort of flipped the script and kind of put us a little under the radar and have more actual speakers outside of our organization that are coming in. So longer keynotes, longer sessions, more sessions packed in so that you really get a jam-packed day and a half of content. So I'm super excited.
Yeah, just to add one little thing, right? So from just we don't like to over glorify ourselves in these things. Is that the point of this little
Yeah.
chat here? And I'd like to highlight that's not the point of the summit either, right? So the summit, while it was a membership focused thing, keep in mind, we formed 2013. The frameworks we think of today didn't even exist. CareQual was 2014. TEFCA was only the last couple of years. What we did notice in 2018 when we joined to Care Quality is there was a hockey stick moment of interoperability skyrocketing from 18 to 2020, like a huge difference. Thousands of transactions became millions and now became billions, right? It's a very different ballgame. So this is not designed anymore to say, what are we doing as Commonwealth? It's an industry event. It's what is the industry doing? Who's paying our bills right now? Our members are paying our bills and making sure that we're doing our thing. We're not a 501c3. We're not an educational institution that's designed to educate everybody, but we are a trade association. I think it's very important that the industry is educated, one, but also collaborates. This is a leave your badge at the door moment. You won't see a lot of BS. You won't see a lot of attaboys and patting on the back that aren't warranted. And I'm all for the ones that are real. And here's the successes, the state of interoperability and where we are. We should be proud. But here are the things we have not done well, and we have to figure out what to do better on. And I'm kind of excited, proud, if we want to say that. I think a big part of our yelling at each other last year was on patient access. And what do you see as the main topic du jour in the CMS aligned networks and everything else is why isn't patient access working? What do we got to do? So yeah. I'm not saying we're leading the charge, but we might be.
We're certainly loud.
So we're loud.
We're loud.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's all right. I mean, I think that, there's an opportunity that we get to come together and, interrupt for the greater good has kind of been our MO for a while now. And we've actually seen that progress. So it's a really exciting time.
Absolutely. Paul, you attend, a few events a year. What do you think is unique about our agenda that you haven't seen at other events that you've attended, at least as of late?
That's a great question. I think what's unique is how honest it is. Like, I think we have a good discussion. Now, our job at Commonwealth is not to compete with the market. It's to make the market work better, right? But I describe ourselves as a big old fire hose of getting all this stuff connected, and you all should build products and services that bridge off of that. So we're not there to conquer the world. That's not our goal. We have some people who attend that want to conquer the world, and I think good for them. That welcome to trade and competition. And there's probably some humans that think we compete with them. That's fundamentally interesting. I think they'd be better off just joining here and having one big fire hose, and they should differentiate in the products and services that go after that. But we'll let them all build their stuff anyway. But it's just fun. Like every time that people come out, and the reviews are interesting. You talk about people, the intellect, whatever. That's great. The biggest comment is that was not what I expected.
Yeah,
that's the most common comment in like the open comment specs. And it's said in a good way. It's like, I'm expecting kind of this networking, whatever. It's like, oh crap, I actually learned something. It was good it was refreshing to hear people talk about the frustrations I have, and not say they don't exist, but that they're maybe surmountable if we work on them together, and also understand and remind ourselves that we've come pretty far. So, it's a good group. It's a really fun group to talk to and converse with in the hallways, not just on stage.
Yeah.
So we have new speakers, but I'll be up there too, and Liz will as well. So, we don't change up the whole thing. It's just Dr. Keen's coming this year. We've had the ONC director. Now it's some long title with a slash in the middle and another thing.
It is
a whole bunch of other words.
Extremely long. I could barely fit it on the slide.
Yeah. So, I guess we're important enough to let people travel to us. That's great. So we're looking forward to that. He's actually quite entertaining as a speaker, as a matter of fact. So looking forward to that. And hopefully we have some people over from the CMS side, some payer discussion on the line networks and other things. So it's interesting. I think it's a lot of breadth and depth at the same time. So, come with your note cap. I don't know your thinking cap too, but take notes and bring it back to your orgs.
For sure.
Yeah. One of the things we really try hard not to do is, just have kind of like the standard set talking points that you hear over and over and over again. That's not who we are as an organization. And so you'll hear some real talk, and it could be spicy, but it will be real, kind of across the board. And because that's how we like to get things done is we don't want to skirt around the reality. There's some great things happening in Interop. There are definitely still many challenges for us to overcome. And the way that we do that is by facing it head on and having those real conversations. So it's always a good time.
Agreed.
Join us if you can.
Yep. So to close us out today, I just want to thank our sponsors really quick, because we've had very generous sponsorships this year. Meditech is our gold sponsor. We have Trove as our silver sponsor. Be Well is our lanyard sponsor, so you'll see them represented. We have LK doing our swag station, so stay tuned for that. Should be another good one this year. And then we have Clinical Architecture, who's just an Interop supporter as well. So special thank you to all of them. As a reminder, the registration closes on Sunday. I dropped the link in the chat, or you can just go to our website and register there, as well as your hotel block. So don't forget. And I think with that, thank you for joining us, and we will see you again in 2 weeks.
Awesome. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.